los ojos para ver lo que está
Everybody
pasando.
vamos, put up your manos. Members of time to unite, Chicanos, Latinos, and los Estados Unidos. Don't care if you're Ricans or even Cubanos. Look at our coaches. We have more in common, don't let them divide. These suckers are vultures. Either we standing together or better be standing aside. Now is the time, don't know about you, but I'm gonna ride. We gotta climb, fight for your veins, but where was your pride? Where were the gunners that you got inside? Look how our ancestors came to this country. They try to be living the American dream. Don't throw it away. They promise you money and catch your agent for the machine. Pick a new team, you bless your communism, but that is a system that you wanna bring. You need to think, we gotta fight communism, cause it look like we on the brink. Connect to the link, so one party system is taking the power from all of the people. We need to think, when will you listen? These people are evil and won't see the sequel, so what is your plan? Hand in hand, we're standing together, cause it's the one never to do what you can. Please understand, we gotta do better, so walkers remember that we took a stand. Escúchame, 24 es el año, si se puede. Lucha, lucha por la libertad. Órale, vamos.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Latino Free Minds, episode 151. And how you doing, Danny?
Doing good.
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 So on this episode, we're joined by a special guest. We've been trying to get this done, scheduled for a while, and it's finally happening. So we'd like to welcome her in. Mayra Flores, thank you for coming on the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much. We finally made it happen.
Yeah, we did. How's the weather in Texas right now?
The best. I love the weather during this time. It's not too hot. It's not cold. It's just perfect. I wish we could have these temperatures because I hate the heat in Texas in the summer.
Yeah, no.
Right?
Yeah, out here in Fresno County in California, the heat is like really bad in the summer. But in a sense, like I
Deadly.
feel like you get used to it too a little bit. Or I don't know if you're indoors most of the time that it just you
I
think you
I
get used to it.
can't. I can't get used to it. I hate the I
What
hate
part
the
of
heat.
Texas are you from?
What
Here
was
in
that?
South Texas, San Benito. Where am I from? Is that what you said?
What part of Texas do you reside?
San Benito.
Oh,
San
okay.
Benito, Texas. Yes,
Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
that's my hometown.
So you were in Congress before, right? You were the
Back in
first.
22.
Yeah, you were the first Mexican-born Latina to make it to Congress, right?
Yes, we made history in the U.S. Congress back in 2022. Proud of that historic win,
Hmm.
and that Democrats can never claim that we took
Nope.
that away from them.
You you have that. That's like awesome. That's yours.
We
So
do,
yeah.
yes, that we do. The Republican Party has that, absolutely.
And I remember one of the things that I've kind of always wanted to ask you about was when you got into Congress, they you tried to join the Latino caucus and they told you no.
They
What was
told me no,
what was
which
that
I
like?
already knew, and I did it on purpose. I knew they were going to tell me no. I just wanted it to be out there. I knew there were a bunch of hypocrites, and they weren't going to allow me. According to them, I was too far right. I was too MAGA to be a part of the Hispanic caucus, and I'm like, I'm as Hispanic as you can be. I mean, I was born in Mexico, but I guess my values of God and family and loving our country is too radical
Too
for them,
extreme. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
too extreme.
No,
I'll
I
never
think
understand that.
no, I think that was a good move. Go ahead, Danny.
That's one of the things that as soon as Daniel told me that you were gonna come on the podcast, the first thing that came to mind is what you have to deal with as far as identity politics goes,
I
and
hate it.
that kind of encapsulates everything right there, everything that's wrong with it, because
Hmm.
right away they want to put you in certain boxes, and it doesn't make sense. It's like putting a round peg in a square hole. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't.
Absolutely, and that's why I felt obligated to get involved in politics. I didn't grow up in politics, never ran for any local or state position. I just one day had enough and ran for office. I mean, prior to running, I was a respiratory care practitioner. Grew up here in South Texas, but my parents were migrant workers, so we did move a lot growing up. I actually worked alongside my parents in the fields for many years until I actually graduated high school. And I love that I had that connection and that relationship with my parents. They instilled in me not just my faith in God, family values, but to work hard in this country. And I just felt obligated to get involved in politics and educate the Hispanic community on what the Democrat Party stood for and the Republican Party stood for, and not to vote for the Democrat Party just because you've been told to do so all your life. And the Democrat Party took us for granted, and they do not resonate with the values of our grandparents and our parents instilled in us. And for me, that's more important. No political party is more important than the values that are instilled in you. And that's one of the reasons why I felt obligated to run for office, get involved because of the lack of information that I saw in the Hispanic community. And in 2022, it was the first time that Republicans ever invested in South Texas. And we saw that huge shift after they invested. Democrats took us for granted here in South Texas because we were told all our lives that the Democrat Party is the party of the poor, which
Hmm.
I agree, they are the party of poverty. They love creating poverty. They
They'll keep
want
you
you on
poor.
government assistance. They want to be able to manipulate you and stay there. We want you poor so we can
Hmm.
continue manipulating you. And I'm for prosperity. I want us to be able to take care of ourselves and our family and not depend on the government, because when you give that power to the government to feed you, you also give them the power to starve you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
couldn't
Wow.
say it better.
Yeah. No, for reals.
That that explains, our position to the too. So it's like, I think we all went through that same journey. But can you tell us a little bit more about that journey? Growing up, and going to high school or even middle school, and having people tell you what you should believe in, and what the Democratic, that that you belong in the Democratic Party.
Well, I actually was not very into politics growing up. I was just raised conservative. My dad raised us Republican without knowing. He
Hmm.
raised us very, very conservative. And like I said, I moved a lot growing up. And I love the fact that I got to be in South Texas for 6 months. Here in South Texas, the majority is Hispanic. And then we would go up north in the Panhandle, and we would be there also 6 7 months out of the year. And up there I was a minority, and I got to grow up with whites, African Americans, Hispanics, and I just never saw race. I had an amazing childhood in San Benito. I had an amazing childhood in Memphis, Texas. um, I didn't really see myself as, a woman of color, like the Democrats started pointing out when I got elected. They were like, "But you're a woman of color," and I was like, "What?" I never saw myself like that. I'm proud of my heritage, proud of where I'm from, and proud of my family. But I'm a proud American. I love this country. I feel obligated to defend this country because of everything this country has given to me and to my family. But I don't feel that because of where I'm from, I'm supposed to vote a certain way. Actually, because of how I was raised, is that I vote Republican.
Hmm.
I vote Republican because that's the party that I most identify with based on how I was raised. And most Hispanics were raised the same way. I mean, if our grandparents, abuelitas, would see the nonsense some of these Hispanic liberals are doing, these abuelitas would get the chancla, would get the belt. They literally did not get any education from their abuelita if they're acting the way that they're acting. Especially, I see all these Hispanic liberals protesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, no. our abuelitas and our parents would not support that. And by the way, most of these people protesting, they're not even Mexican. They think they're
Mm-mm.
Mexican, but most of them are the no sabo kids. They can't even, speak Spanish, and they think that because they go on vacation to Acapulco, Puerto Vallarta, Cabo, they think they know Mexico. I'm sorry, no, you don't. You don't know Mexico just because you get to vacation on spring break.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make you Mexican. You are an American. And so most of these people protesting are not even Mexican. It's an embarrassment what they're doing because Mexico does not approve for you to be raising the Mexican flag in the United States and burning vehicles, burning property that does not belong to you, and
Mm-hmm.
assaulting in raising the Mexican flag. It's a huge disrespect for both countries. Just I don't believe that you should be, raising the Mexican flag here in the United States to protest, just like Mexico wouldn't allow you to do that with the US flag. Actually, it's illegal. It's illegal for an American to go to Mexico, protest with the American flag. It's a
Yeah.
huge disrespect in Mexico. Why is it okay for you to come and do that in this country? It's not.
Yeah. No, that's exactly
It's
true.
all about
That.
respect. It's
Yeah.
all about respect. That
Yeah.
it really is. We respect Mexico, respect the United States of America. We came here for a reason. We came here to work hard to accomplish the American dream, not to come and disrespect this country. You don't like it here, then go back. Go
Yeah.
back where you came from. If it's that bad here in the United States, I mean, I will give you a ride to Reynosa, Tamaulipas.
Yeah.
I'll
And
drop you off personally.
yeah, here in California, I think in the recent weeks, we see kids from middle school to high school walking out of class to protest ICE, and a lot of those kids probably don't even know the full function of ICE. So, you know, I was young, we were young, Danny, and we know that we would probably do anything to get out of class, and that's all they're doing. So, um that's just what we've been seeing recently. So get Myra back in here.
Yeah.
um but you had mentioned that
Sorry
your
about
early
that.
no, you're good. The early voting starts next week for your campaign. Is that your primaries in Texas then, right? Oh, I think we lost her again. What do you think, Danny, so far?
No, I think this is what she's doing. Oh, is it? Because
Hmm.
we have the audio.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
audio, I just can't see you. Let me see. Yeah, it says offline. But what were you saying? And then when she comes back, oh.
No, I think what she's accomplishing in politics is really important. But one of the big things that we have been talking about as she's accomplishing this and entering that arena is not allow for that identity politics to get in the way of actually doing something impactful,
Hmm.
that's going to last for a long time. Because this whole dynamic of you know c- um, this party against this party or this race against another race, that's temporary, and that's just a distraction.
Yeah, looks like we got her back in. Let me pop her in. All right, Maria, got you back. But
Sorry about that. I We lost signal.
no, you're good. It happens. But your primaries early voting starts next week. You said.
Next week, yes, February the 17th, early voting. It ends on February 27th, and then election day is March 3rd.
Okay. Oh, did she freeze up for you?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay,
Can
she
you
froze
hear?
up for me. I think the connection. Oh, she's still there. I think she said March
I'm
3rd is the
still
election.
here. I
Okay,
don't
No,
know what's going on.
we can hear you. We can hear you.
we
So
can hear
March
you.
March 3rd is the election date.
Election day, yes, March
Okay.
3rd here in Texas. So I'm encouraging all Republicans, all conservatives.
Oh, no, we lost her. Lost her. Oh man,
Yeah.
the internet doesn't want this one to happen.
No, and then what I was reading is that with the redistricting in Texas,
Hmm.
I think it's going to be favorable for her district as far as um, Republican voters go.
Office.
Yeah, they don't want this one to happen, Myra. Uh, they can't get three.
Y'all go out and vote for Mayra Flores.
They don't want three non liberal left leaning Latinos talking some sense. So they're doing one of those what do you call it? Those attacks that they do.
No, but Maida, I was telling Daniel that I was reading that with the redistricting in Texas, that it's going to be favorable for your district as far as conservative voters go.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can
Oh, we lost her again. I'll leave it on here, but go ahead. What were you gonna say? Oh, there she is.
uh,
Yes, it is a complete different district. Prior it was a district that Biden had won by 17 points. And now, thanks to redistricting, this district has been drawn into a Trump 10, meaning that President Trump won it by 10 points. But we only lost it by 2 when it was a Biden plus 17,
Mm,
okay.
okay.
meaning that we overperformed.
Is the Oh my god, I forgot his name. The guy that's in there now, the guy you're running against, is he running for re-election? The incumbent?
Yes, the Democrat, yes, he's an incumbent and he's running for reelection, and he will lose in November. So I hope he's enjoying his last term.
Oh, okay. And then on the Republican side, because there's always right several people that want to come up. Do you have anyone else running against you in your own party?
Yes, I have a Biden's DOJ prosecutor.
Ooh.
Actually, one of my opponents, he worked for the Biden administration for 3 years, the Biden's DOJ. His father, a Democrat representative here in South Texas, known as
Mm.
Mr. 10%, and was indicted and found guilty for corruption. And that is Eric Flores. Yes, which, by the way, he's not related to me. He's related to Pino Flores, Mr. 10%, and
Man.
voted for Biden in 2020. And so there's only one Flores that voted for President Trump, and that is Mayra Flores.
There you go.
And so we're running to retake back Texas District 34. No one has worked harder than we have,
Mhm.
and that's why we're doing what we're doing to
Yeah.
finish what we started.
Yeah, no, and I think what you just brought up right now with Eric Flores is really important because with everything that's going on with the Epstein files and things of that nature, I can speak for myself, but I don't want people that are corrupt or criminals or pedophiles or anything like that to be representing me. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people feel that way. So you pointing that out is actually really, I mean, it's always been important, but it's more
It's a
important
fact.
right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and these are facts. People can actually do their research. Did Eric Flores work for the Biden's DOJ? Yes.
Mm.
It's a fact that he worked for the Biden's DOJ, the same DOJ that tried to prosecute and put President Trump in prison. We don't need any more rhinos in Congress. We have plenty of them, and one of the reasons why we can't pass the SAVE Act is because of rhinos. It's
Mm.
because of watered down Republicans, that are spineless. We don't need any more of those type of people in Congress or in the Senate. We have enough of them, and that's why primaries are important. You got to elect the person that is going to be your strongest member of Congress.
Yeah, no, and that's something that when we do these know your candidates and talk to you guys, it's who's going to be a fighter, right? Because it's easy to say, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. But then when you're in the arena where you got to, put your fist up and get it going, a lot of them fold. And, it's interesting too that how you were saying about Eric, that he worked for the Biden DOJ. Has he denounced any of that
No,
DOJ's actions?
no,
And
no. He
what
he
makes
he
him run as a
he
Republican
hasn't.
now?
it's convenient. He
Mm,
can't win as a Democrat. And so he's voted all his life Democrat, and he started voting now just recently Republican because he wanted to run as a Republican because that's the only way he can win Texas District 34 as a Republican, especially now with the new lines. It's unfortunately what's happening, but and we're getting a lot of people like that joining in our party. It's the reason why we're having such difficult time right now in Congress passing legislation, and it's the reason why we have such a small majority because we have so
mm.
many rhinos in Congress.
Yeah, and then before you say something, Danny, that's like what we said on election night was, it's good that Trump got the House, the Senate, and the White House, obviously. But if the legislation doesn't do what they've been mandated to do, it's going to be pointless. Doesn't matter what Trump says. And it kind of right now, he's done good. They've done some stuff, but I feel like at this point, getting so close to midterms and re-elections, I feel like they could have
Not
done way
enough.
more, and it's not enough. And I think a lot of people, they're not that they're
Absolutely, you're
not that
right.
they're turning on Trump, but they are very disappointed.
No,
I sense that.
they're disappointed in Congress.
Yes,
They're
yes.
disappointed in Congress. President Trump has passed, strong executive orders, but we're not making those
Hmm.
executive orders into law in
Yeah.
Congress. And so if a Democrat president comes in, he will erase all the work President Trump has done. And that's what we're trying to prevent. The job of Congress is not just the purse, but it's also, is to pass important legislation and make it into law, all these executive orders that President Trump is putting in place. And that's where Congress as a whole is failing, but we do have a small majority. We have to
Hmm.
understand that. That's why it's important that we put in place more Republicans and have a much bigger majority. But we need also members of Congress that are strong, that are brave, that are not watered down Republicans. And like we have some. We have a lot of mediocre members of Congress, and they
Hmm.
think that because they wear the GOP label that they're entitled to the vote of the base, and that's not true.
Hmm.
You're not entitled to anyone's vote. You got to earn it. You got to work for it. Same thing, Democrats. If you think that because you're a Democrat, your base is going to vote for you, think again. This November is going to be very different. It's going to change both the Republican Party and the Democrat Party. I believe that the American people are going to look beyond party labels. And so I encourage all members of Congress to get to work. Get to work, get things done, because if you think that because you wear the GOP label that you're going to be entitled to the base vote, think again.
Yeah. So, Myra, have you seen a difference from 2022 to now as far as support goes for conservatives in Texas at all?
Oh, absolutely. Well, here in South Texas, yes, because of the work that we have been putting in. Team Myra, we're knocking on hundreds of doors every single day, talking directly to the voters, to my constituents. It's important that we have that relationship. So here in South Texas, we've seen a huge difference, a lot more support towards conservatives. I don't know anywhere else, but here in South Texas, where I have been putting in a lot of work for years, yes, we have seen a lot more support towards conservatives.
Mm.
But that's
Yeah.
thanks to the hard work that we've put in.
Hmm.
Yeah.
No, and I can imagine too. Obviously for everybody, the 4 years of Biden and the policies that they had, especially border and all that stuff, economy, the inflation, that was
Yes,
rough on everybody. So I think that it's a huge reason why
everyone.
Trump won, because they saw how bad it can get, and trust me, it could get worse. So like you said,
I
it's
don't
like
want them to forget. It's important that we remind the American people how bad it was under the
yeah,
Biden administration,
yeah,
where
and
we had thousands and thousands of people crossing illegally into the country every single day. People need to remember what
hmm.
happened under the Biden administration and not to allow that to ever happen again. And I think the media right now is playing a huge role in that.
Kind of lost her there.
Mhm.
But no, I think she's right. You know, um, the the media does, spin everything. They underreport when it's we lost you, but I can hear you right now.
I'm
Uh,
okay. I'm over here like
no, we
You're in
lost
the
her.
dark. I think we
The
lost you completely,
Yeah,
man.
the media underreports when it's convenient and overreports also when it's convenient. So it's she has a point, which I think she was kind of getting to there.
Yeah, but that's the difficult thing is that we know that that's their strategy, and what she was explaining, hitting the ground, knocking door to door and talking to her constituents and having a strong presence that way is really important. But um, that's why I started talking about the identity politics. Is that you know even though that you don't want to be in that conversation or engage into that, they drag you in, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So I think that's really important. In that,
I apologize.
no, that's fine.
You're good, Myra.
You're fine. Can you hear us?
I apologize. It's a signal. I don't know. Yes, I can hear y'all. Well, I just wanted to thank all of you for your support, giving me an opportunity to talk about
Oh,
Yeah, we're here.
I lost her. You can hear her?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I know she had another.
bad signal.
Yeah, there you go. Now I can hear you. Yeah. Well, we can reschedule this for some other
I
time
don't
or
know what's
something.
happening, but just want to encourage everyone to yes. Well, God bless you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Thank
Likewise.
you for coming on, Meyer.
God bless you. Thank you.
So yeah, I mean, technical issues, it happens.
Oh, it started that way and it ended that way.
Yeah, yeah, but we're here and we're thankful that she was here, and then we'll work on. I'm sure we can redo this some other time.
Yeah.
But like she said, early voting there starts next week, so you know, here in California, it's something that as we've gone through elections and you have early voting, mail-in ballots, especially here. Um, it's a new game. It's a new game to play, and we have to adjust to the new rules. And yeah, if you got early voting, go vote as soon as you can. I mean, I think it's better to just get the numbers up as quickly as possible, because the other side is voting early and often. So you know what I mean? So it's like we have to adapt until any changes are made.
They're voting early, they're all voting late, and they're voting past deadlines. So,
And more than once,
more
allegedly, dogs are voting.
dead people.
No.
So, yeah, obviously, it's really important, to get out there and vote. And you started mentioning, the Get to Know Your Candidate series, and
Mm,
that's going to be coming up here for us pretty fast. And
yeah,
some shakeup in what's been happening here in California. So we'll be covering that as well.
yeah. I mean, so we have next week. Let me look at let me look at the calendar, because we do have quite a few. Oh, so next week we have on Tuesday Lorenzo Rios. He's running for Congress, also District 21 in California. Wednesday we have. This is a very. I thought I'm excited for this. I mean, I'm excited for all of them, but we got Wednesday we have Royce White. He's running for senator in Minnesota. Uh, the week after that, we have David Serpa, who's running for state treasurer now. Just announced he was running for governor, now running for state treasurer. And I want to say Dick Lucas, who's running for state assembly here in California, March 10th. I think that's everybody. The guys just had Tish yesterday. She's running for LA mayor. So yeah, the whole Know Your Candidate series is really gonna get moving, and we appreciate every candidate that gives us time. I think one of the main goals for Know Your Candidate is literally what it's called. Knowing these people before we go vote for them, and that's something that this is going to be the third election cycle. No, second, second, where we're going to be able to talk to these candidates and just see what they're about. So that's kind of cool. That's exciting.
Yeah, no. This is what's important, and I think we were kind of getting to that with Myra is that you know who we elect locally is more important than the federal elections. To be honest with you, I mean they're all important, but it all starts here locally. So
Yeah.
the more informed we are, the better we set our future up for ourselves. And we need to do
Hmm.
something here in California. Um, it's pretty freaking ridiculous.
Yeah. It is. So we're excited to see. I'm sure we'll have more people. I believe the primaries here in California are in June. I believe June 6th or 7th, something like that. I'll look it up. But we got time to get to know these people before we go vote. We'll have early voting, I'm sure. So we'll keep people updated on when that happens. And like always, any voting cycle, we've told people go vote. Don't sit it out. Don't protest. We have to vote. There's a lot of things that you know some things we can't vote our way out of, but we as people, we as men, have to you know stand up to it and hold truth to power, because we've been seeing some things recently that just what I mean, disappointing. And we're not seeing accountability. You know
No,
what I mean?
and you know that that's really important to me. I really don't like when the talking heads out there start saying. I think I heard Ben Shapiro saying that it's less than 1%. The people that care about who are on this list on with Epstein and stuff like that. And he's not stupid. Obviously, he's very intelligent, but at the same time, he's manipulating us. He's trying to make it seem like that's what the consensus is out there in the United States, and it's not. Because just imagine this: they're trying to simplify it and minimize it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what he's saying is that we're so stupid that we don't care that these leaders of industries, leaders in politics,
Mm-hmm.
being criminals, corrupt, and engaged in these awful things don't matter to us. That's how stupid we are. That
Mm-hmm.
we're okay with these people leading in politics and in industry, and that should be an insult to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And you know where we have the power to do something about it and show people like Ben Shapiro that we do have the power and we do care is voting.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these people that are going to seek re-elections and or are going to be up for election, this is our time to tell them exactly how we feel and what we want done.
Mm-hmm.
And it's by casting our vote. I don't know if you're on the same page with me in regard to that, but um,
Mm-hmm.
I
I
think
am.
that I think that they're just setting us up. I was actually looking into this and possibly thinking, why would they be releasing these files and putting these names out there in the ether and having people talking about them and
Mm-hmm.
having a discussion about it when they're doing nothing about it, right? I
Right.
don't, you know, are there investigations going on that we don't know about? I hope so.
I hope so.
I don't think so, though. It doesn't seem like it.
I hope so. Kodak.
But this is kind of what I found is that what what they like to do is to throw it out there so that people can talk about it, um, and kind of gauge the temperature of the people. And at the same time, by nothing happening, it's conditioning us, the citizens, to not expect anything. Which,
Mm,
if you talk to a lot of people, that's exactly what they say is that there's a two-tier justice system. You know,
mm-hmm,
we go out here and jaywalk. I'm just throwing something out there,
mm-hmm,
and you could get a ticket, you could get arrested, you could do anything can happen to you. But these people committing crimes, fraud, with the fraud that we have here in California, I think that deems DOJ to start investigations, snap of a finger, and not let people get away with this type of criminality, but it doesn't happen. So therefore, people say there's a two-tier justice system.
mm-hmm.
And I really hope that something turns around because I'm actually I'm this close to going back on my position that the Democratic Party and the Republican Party is, s- two in the same
Mm-hmm.
at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, right? That it's like, we're not in the know of everything, obviously, um, but still, it's like, man, there's certain things where it's like, you have to have a line somewhere, right? Some of the stuff that went on that's in the Epstein files, it's sick stuff, and yeah, not seeing accountability. I don't know if it's a play, you know what I mean? I don't know if it's something where you do have all these Democrats now demanding accountability. I don't know if it's, I don't know, but I kind of, I'm in a sense like, I'm tired of trying to figure out what the play is. I'm done with that shit. Like, I just want to see, all right, we know all this. We know all this information, all the redacted information. We know what it is. We know who it is. We know what they were saying. And, boom, let's get these people. Because it's the only way it's going to stop. Because if these, none of these people, if nobody faces any accountability, it's going to embolden them to do even more. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And imagine the people that are being put at risk because of our inaction. I know Bondi was in Congress today or something, and I didn't see the full clip to know the full context, but I know they were talking about, the Epstein files. And in the clip that I saw was her saying the Dow is at 50,000 and we should be talking about that. And
Oh,
it's like,
hell no.
I don't know. Okay, like I said, I gotta watch the full context of why
Yeah.
she's bringing that up when they're trying to talk about the Epstein files. Um, it's
They're
if
talking
it
about that because she's DOJ, not
right,
Wall Street.
yeah, I so I saw that clip again. I don't know if it's out of context, but that clip looked horrible. You
Yeah.
know, um, people don't care where the Dow is if we're just gonna allow elites or whoever,
I don't
people
like
of
calling
power,
them elites, dude. These are freaking,
sickos, demons.
yeah.
If we're just gonna allow those,
Even if they're not involved with that, I I think what I don't like about it is that it puts them in a different class, better than just regular citizens, like us. So it's
yeah,
like they're nothing without us, actually. So
yeah. And
uh,
then I mean, look, man, um, I have to question people. I have to question their judgment. I believe the first charges that Epstein got were in 2005 or six, maybe seven. If you're still trying to reach out to him after that, like I got questions about you. You know what I mean? I'm sure a lot of these people knew what's going on, right? It's like the Diddy thing. All the celebrities knew what was happening, but nobody talked about it. So I could give the same. I could think the same thing's happening here. A lot of people know about it. Nobody talks about it. Even now, even I didn't see the ad supposedly of the survivors, the Epstein survivors,
Hmm.
and the one thing that bothers me about them, and I don't know if what you feel about it,
Hmm.
is why don't they just fucking name names? They're already saying they're survivors. Like, why not just let it rip?
Yeah.
That to me, I mean, not to say they didn't go through anything. I don't know the whole legal process, but at a certain point, you know,
That's what I was gonna say. There's so much legally, like they could be handcuffed legally.
hmm
There's a lot of people talking about assist and assist letters being sent out and stuff like that, and that's
well, Bongino got one, I think.
oh, did he?
Well, he must have. I
Well, I
don't know.
mean,
He must have.
look, the reality is this: is that people with money. I actually in my past have had someone. Um, we were having some legal. We were contesting, right,
hmm
legally, and they threw in my face that they have someone on a retainer, da 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 da, and they got them to send me a letter and stuff like that, and they hide behind that, and they were in the
hmm
wrong, mind you, but just because they have a really good lawyer on a retainer, ready to rock and roll, they think that they can shut down the truth with those tactics is what I'm trying to say here.
hmm
And the reality is that, in that situation, I just, we started gathering the facts and everything that, we had. Um, and that stood on its own. And, even though they had a good attorney on a retainer and anything like that, it didn't help them whatsoever. But that's a reality, Daniel, is that
hmm
that's the tactics that they have. And victims like you're talking about that
hmm
should be naming names if they could, maybe would, but they're
Yeah.
shackled um with those legal tactics. That's the part that we have to understand. But at the same time, is that if we play that game, if you notice a theme with podcasters that have been getting those letters,
hmm
they're getting hip to it, and this is what they're doing. And there's a leader out there that kind of showed them the roadmap to this. Is that what they need to understand is if they do go to court, they need to be ready um, to come with the paperwork too. Uh,
hmm
what do they call it? With
Just evidence or um, just the data, the facts, the
discovery,
discovery. There you go.
discovery. So, man, if you're gonna take someone to court, you got to be ready, and you got to know that you're on point. You got your T's crossed and your I's dotted, because if
Yeah.
they're able to get a hold of discovery, you expose yourself, you open yourself up. That's why a lot of these podcasters, this is my point, they're emboldened right now because they know that when these people are employing these tactics, and they're straight up saying that you get ready. I think I saw Sean Ryan actually do that when he got one of these letters from a convicted pedophile allegedly,
Mm.
and he made a direct message and told them to get ready with discovery and everything. And because he wasn't lying, he
hmm
wasn't he he didn't have to
Well,
hide from anything. And
yeah.
and that's the roadmap that everybody has to get. Don't, they can't let these people um, use these tactics anymore. That has to
Yeah,
be a thing of the past.
yeah. And to your point, and something related to California, it's like that's why Newsom and his DOJ dropped the high-speed rail case against Trump, because what's going to happen? Discovery, where'd all that money go?
Yeah,
You know,
billions and billions of dollars.
so they just drop it. They put on they do the headline where it's like, oh, we're suing Trump, but they drop the case when nobody's listening, and it's because of that discovery. So I don't know. I think it's at a point where they can't just brush it off like it's nothing, because we're not that stupid. And like you said, if people like Ben Shapiro want to think we are, we're not. Just because Ben Shapiro says something, or whoever your favorite influencer says, I mean, you yourself have to look things up, have to see, does this make sense or not? You know what I mean? Even shit, even the things we say, right? I don't think anybody should be influenced by anyone necessarily, like, oh, because that's Ben Shapiro, he's got a name, or this guy's got that name, or this guy is well known. We've talked about that from day one. It's like you yourself have to, look into, or hey, if this doesn't pass the smell test, you know what I mean? My eyes are seeing something completely than what you're telling me. That stuff like that on our own, we have to be able to be like, hey, this don't sound right.
Yeah, we had a little conversation in a chat, and it's kind of related to this because you know the conversation was kind in the context of you know making people feel isolated, and it's one of those things where if you engage into the reality they want to bring you into, you've already lost. If you engage in that conversation, you're done. And one of the important things that we all have to do is if we're getting dragged into a conversation where um, they're trying to put us in a bracket or in a circle in a group
Mm-hmm.
because of our religious beliefs, our ethnicity, our status as far as income, or our profession, or
Mm-hmm.
anything like that, or education. If you engage and you allow them to put you in that bracket or in that bubble, you've already lost the conversation. We've got to redirect it to what's right is right, to facts,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. And
Mm-hmm.
and if you color walls, and you put yourself inside those walls with those people, like I said, you've already lost. You
Mm-hmm.
gotta break down all those walls. There's no freaking walls here. There's no your reality, my reality. There's only one freaking reality, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. And that's kind of what we try to tell people with the stuff that we do. Um, it's don't let them control your mind, in the sense where you know uh on some of the I've done like two clips, and I think I've said this twice on two different clips recently. Like, obviously we're Latino, so people that are in that mentality of being in the box, as far as like, okay, you're Latino, you're supposed to be Democrat, you're supposed to be liberal, and if you're not, you just want to be white. Some bullshit like that, right? So on two clips already, I've made it a point to say it's not because I'm trying to be white. That's fucking stupid. And I've said it just like that, because it is. It's not about being white. If I'm talking to you about how our taxes are being stolen, and in California, for example, the Democrats have run this state. It's not even because they're Democrats, it's because they're the ones that are there. You know what I mean? They're the ones that are causing it. And it's not because I'm a Republican, MAGA, this or that. It's like because no, I see reality is the Democrats in California have lost billions of dollars, have ruined the state. So whether I am a Democrat, independent, or Republican, that doesn't change that fact. And because you tell me that I want to be white for pointing that out, that's stupid.
Yeah. Hey, look, when they're taking our tax dollars, it doesn't matter if you're white, Mexican, Chinese, black, whatever race it is, dude. It's like that's why, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. We have to excel above that. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
there's kind of a funny story is like with my job, I was doing an inspection or an audit, if you will, at a workplace, and the guy that owned it was Vietnamese, and he got mad at me because I was pointing some things out, right? And he was trying to insult me, and he told me, "Oh yeah, go eat a burrito or whatever." And I go, "Actually, it's 11 o'clock, but once I'm done here, I'm gonna find a good Mexican spot, and I probably will buy a burrito. They're good." So it's like, you know,
Good suggestion, I guess.
you know, and just like it was a distraction for him to get under my skin for what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
If I engage, I don't know, and God forbid, get in a physical altercation with him, or someone ends up, getting really hurt or something like that,
Yeah.
and I lose my job, and I get sued or whatever the case may be. Those are the distractions. Those are the things that were taken away from the facts. The facts is that I was there to do a job, and he's supposed to do it a certain way, and it's accountability, and that's what people don't want.
Mm-hmm.
So, are we gonna fall for those same old tricks? It's like, I hope not, and I hope
Yeah.
we show them, like I said earlier, with our votes, that we aren't falling for it. But I will tell you one thing is that one thing I don't like with all of these Epstein files being released, and with all the redactions in there, but with a glimpse of what they've done, because I agree with you, there's a lot more dark things that are in there. Is I'm not seeing a whole bunch of people being all up in arms about this whole thing going down.
Mm-hmm.
That's the scariest part to me is that people are
They're,
just
they're
you know
more upset with Bad Bunny than Epstein.
you took the thought out of my head. You took
That's the
the
sad
thought out of
part.
my head.
Yeah. It's crazy. I noticed that too. And I think I even saw a meme where it's like, you know, I can't believe we live in a country where people are more upset with Bad Bunny than what's in the Epstein files.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can't argue that, dude. I think I don't know if I send it to you, dude, but like I even saw, um, those little maps to say you are here, and it has like a little arrow pointing.
uh, like a like a galaxy or something like that.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
The one I saw, and that shit like that. It's in one of the clips I'm gonna release on Friday, I think. And it's just you are here. It's a picture of the galaxy. Galaxy's huge, beautiful. We're a little speck on it. The arrow's there, and it says you are here paying taxes to pedophiles. And it's
Uh,
like, damn, in
yeah.
the big universe, in that tiny speck, that's what we're doing here. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, something to think about.
Yeah. You know. And another thing to think about is all the people that are telling us that it's not a big deal. Think about that. What would
Hmm.
what would you suspect if someone tells you it's not a big deal? What would you think about that person?
Either okay, I would have the two things for sure off the top of my head that you know I would think is either someone's paying them to say that, or as as independent of a thinker, or as however they want to present themselves, they are still in a sense locked down to identity politics because it's their team and their team saying, it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? The people that support, if you like, I'll just Bongino, for example, if you're a Bongino fan and Bongino says it's nothing, and you go, yeah, shit, it's nothing. That's because you don't think for yourself.
Yeah.
So it's either you're getting paid or you just really just a follower.
Yeah. The other thing that comes to mind is like, what do they do behind closed doors?
Damn. Oh man, yeah. I
That
mean,
that's one of the things that comes to mind is like,
I I mean, it's crazy, dude. Because at the same time, there are probably people that are on those files indirectly, right? I'm sure there's a lot of that, and I see it. People run with that, and but that's a lesson to be learned because you know when you run with something without verifying it, it that's that same standard eventually hits you one day.
you know,
Comes back to you, and again, I have to question. Maybe they didn't do anything, but I do have to question their judgment for being even close to all that. You know what I mean? To be in the, what would you call it? Anywhere near that zone,
yeah,
you know,
you want to be in that
it's
vicinity.
questionable.
You don't want to be
and
associated with them.
and it's just it's crazy. You know, I want to say more, but I'm kind of holding back. I don't know why.
No, I mean, honestly, we shouldn't. One of the things that I was gonna bring up with Myra was this: is that we've talked about it as far as immigration goes, and especially after talking to the immigration lawyer,
Mhm,
is that conversation about a like an actual real um, road to citizenship
mhm.
needs to start. It just
Yeah.
needs to start. Someone needs to begin it, and not just because she's Hispanic, but because that conversation just needs to
Mhm.
start.
Yeah. No,
And
it does. It does.
and another one too is that you know how I feel about big money lobbies and stuff like that, is that
Mhm.
you and I and everybody else are going to be talking about all of this until we die. Um, but if there isn't major lobby reform, all of this is for nothing. And just check this out. I'm going to make a quick connection.
Mhm.
So these elite leaders of the industries um, are mentioned in the Epstein files, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Are they the ones lobbying politicians?
Mm.
Are they you catch what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So obviously the politicians are going to protect these people because they're getting paid by this lobby, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
This is how important this is. And this is why Ben Shapiro is trying to make us think that this isn't important, that we're just that stupid.
Mm.
And that's how it's when they're telling us this is because it's that important, because it's that huge, because if we go, these people need to be held accountable, is because if they come down, their money goes away. The
Mhm.
people that pay them, the lobbies that pay them.
Mm.
And I've told you guys this many, many times that all these people, these leaders of industry, we have citizens here in the United States that could do just as good a job or even better than they can. So we can't be afraid of that.
Mm-hmm.
We need to let capitalism do its thing. Is if your product sucks, if your results suck, you're not gonna get business, and you're gonna go out of business, and you need to be let go out of business if that happens. Some
Mm-hmm.
dude, humans are so special and so I can't even put it into words. We can accomplish so many things. We can
Gifted.
accomplish, yes, gifted, that when someone that has a shitty product and they go out of business,
Mm-hmm.
someone brilliant, gifted is going to come and take their place.
Mm-hmm.
But it goes back to what we said originally when we first started this whole thing, is that the corrupt are going to rise to the top because they're going to do crap
Mm-hmm.
unethical to get to that spot.
They have
And
no
that's where
morals.
we're at
Yeah.
right now. Look at that. Look at that connection. We're right there
Mm-hmm.
where we know who some of these pieces of shit are, and we need to do something about it.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Let's vote. It's not violence, it's voting them the hell out of their positions.
Yeah. No, that's a good that's a good connection, man. Well, I'll leave it at that because that was yeah, I didn't even think about it that way. That was a good one. But man, well, we thank Myra again for coming on. We did have the technical difficulties at the beginning with her, but we'll work on doing it again with her. And like we said earlier, we got a bunch of candidates coming up the next few weeks, so make sure to tune in. It's not just California candidates; it's Myra's in Texas, Royce White's in Minnesota. So hey, whoever wants to come on, talk to us, Independent, Democrat, Republican, you're more than welcome. Um, but yeah, man, that's all I got for today. And then just kind of you know think about what we were talking about here, and yeah, the whole thing you said right now about the most corrupt, unmoral people are the ones that rise to the top, and that's exactly where we are right now, what we're seeing. But yeah, man, that's all I got. Unless you got anything else.
No, well, hey, there's more of us than there are of them.
That's true.
So what are we gonna do?
Yeah, man. Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week. God bless you. Peace be with you.
Peace be with you.